Get ready to exit the high-density areas. That's where all the crime is. That's where all the regulation is. That's where all of the high-density urban planning is. That's where the racial tension is. People just have to plan on getting out of high-density areas.
So what are some of the things that you think about when you think about leaving? Let's see what other people think. Let's see what Treasure Valley Dave thinks too. Next. Hi guys, hey, Dave Edwards, Treasure Valley Dave here. And today I want to talk about a very important subject. What is it that you think about? What things should you be considering when you're thinking about maybe it's time to leave?
I think we need to get out of here right now.
You think that Idaho might be someplace you want to check out? Please give us a text, call, email. Everybody here on the Treasure Valley Dave team has made the relocation journey, and we have the experience and we have answers, and we really look forward to answering your questions. We understand completely that Idaho might not be where you're going to end up, but you may not know until you ask those questions. So give us a holler. And for this video, please go ahead and subscribe. We really appreciate that. Like this video and share with somebody that you might think needs to see it. So let's get back to what are some of the things that you think about when you're thinking about, is it time to go? Well, I pulled some questions off the internet. It's a great place where people ask questions, and we love to answer questions, so we're just naturally gravitating towards that, right? So this person says, when I smell smoke, I investigate. When I see fire, I load up my loved ones and get the heck out. I see fire. So yeah, that's what the case is for so many people. I suppose it depends on where you live. Maybe there's stuff going on your street, right in front of your house, right in front of your kids, right in front of your kids' school. Places that used to be really nice are no longer that way. So maybe you've got a fire burning. What is your fire? And it's different for everybody. Let's get to this one. So let's see. This person made the decision. There is no saving California when political nonsense, corruption, and mismanagement are the order of the day. The monarch and the supermajority of Democrats in California are ensuring that California's best days are in the rearview mirror. Somebody says exactly, and we're not crazy for wanting out. Well, and that's very true too, because you want out, and maybe you've got people around you that are saying, "Oh, you're just crazy. It's not that bad. It's it's another neighborhood. Our neighborhood's fine." And your family's saying, "You know what? We want you to stay here to be with us." Maybe your family could come with you to your new place. I don't know. Upon realization of everything that goes on and is going on in California, if you stay, then you are crazy. Well, there might be some of that. Let's not forget that they've gerrymandered the district so much. Well, that's true too. That's how the Democrats are entrenched in power from here on till the end of, the big one when the whole left coast falls into the ocean.
California is going down. When they tell you not to panic, that's when you run.
These people left California and live in Arizona. Now they're thinking about selling their Arizona house and moving to a Republican state with more freedom. This guy said he worked in Arizona on 2 assignments and he found it unbearable. California, but in the 114-degree desert. Gave my resignation notice and was lucky to get a transfer out of there, and suddenly realized how miserable Arizona really was. Well, and I can tell you, I used to be a truck driver, and one of our main terminals was there in Phoenix, and I would spend quite a bit of time in Phoenix, and in the summertime, it's so unbearably hot. And maybe you get there and you get used to it. Maybe you figure out that you need to get up at 4 a.m. to get your stuff done before it gets hot outside, and then spend the rest of the time inside the house. Maybe that's how it is. I'm not sure. The climate's different in so many places across this great nation. Very diverse. And you have your pick of where you want to go. And maybe climate is one of those things that's important to you. And, speaking of climate, check this out. This is from NOAA, and this is the significant tornado probabilities based on a year, throughout a year, based on data from, 20, 30 years worth of data. And so you can see the climate is, this is their tornadoes. And so we're up through June, and then they kind of back off. And then we start, things get pretty calm. Look, nothing's over in the west. I mean, from Colorado to the west, there's nothing. But poor like Alabama, Mississippi down there, here it comes again. And then the redder is the worst it is. And then it goes right up to Tennessee, right into Kentucky, right up to Texas and Oklahoma, and even up to South Dakota there. It's just, and so you're saying, okay, well, it's tornado. No big deal, right?
Senior, an extreme weather researcher at Northern Illinois University. On Saturday, at least 5 central and southern U.S. states reported deaths after what President Joe Biden said was likely to be one of the largest tornado outbreaks in our history, with an estimated 22 tornadoes touching down. Hardest hit was Kentucky, where Beshear said a death toll of more than 70 may in fact exceed 100 before the day is done. The level of devastation is unlike anything that I have ever seen, he said.
Yeah, Californias are no joke for sure. Did I say Californias? Tornadoes are no joke for sure. And, it's like, it's just another thing to consider, as well as humidity, as well as crime. And, well, I guess crime's not a climate. Well, I take that back. I mean, the politicians have made a climate of crime in quite a few places. So these people, they said they moved to Idaho back in 2019. They said some of the perks is cheap fees, registration, cheap administration, admission prices, awesome fishing and beauty, lots of jobs, support of local businesses, no helmet law, open carry. Can't just leave either. I keep hoping and praying this state gets turned around the next election. So many people, it's always hope. Dadgummit, we're going to get them scallywags at the next election. That next election never comes. And what happens at the next election is they get even further entrenched. At some point, we may be forced to sell. So cool, but maybe it's going to be too late. I have a client whose mom was in East Germany watching the wall get built. And then she left just before it was, you couldn't leave anymore. And so just that action that she took there changed her entire family tree. Just because she was bold enough to take that scary step, take action, and change her future and the future of her family. Powerful stuff, right? We left many loved ones we left many loved ones who, like you, can't leave. We wish California well. It's just we could leave, and so we did. We moved here, and we don't have family here. We used to have family back when we lived in California, and we wouldn't see them maybe on holidays, and it's like just for an hour or two. Now, when we go to see family, we go down there for a week. They're back in the Midwest, and we spend an entire focus week spending with family and spending quality time, and just hanging out in the evening and just talking. And it's like when we lived close enough that you could drive there just like that, we didn't spend all that quality time. So I think maybe there's something to be said that you spend more quality time when you go to visit family, from long distances. And there again, your family might want to move up here. Any tips on how to best explore an area for possible relocation? I'm glad you asked. So one thing is citydata.com, and here's their website, and this is a great resource. I spent much time on here searching when we were thinking that it might be a time for us to leave California. And it's like you can come here, you can pick a city. Where would be I don't know. Let's look at Nampa. There she is. They have so much data here. They have population data. They have income data. They have demographic data. They have crime stats. Just a quick word on crime stats. These come from the FBI and the police departments. It's optional if they send information to the FBI. And the information they send may not be the same. So you might have some jurisdiction that reports absolutely everything honestly and sends it to the FBI. You might have another jurisdiction where they don't want certain crimes to look like they have a lot of them. What else do we have? We have income distribution, tourist things, employment, unemployment, and just down here a little bit more. This is really great. The weather stuff. It's like, what does the weather like in Nampa throughout the year? This shows you the temperatures, the precipitation, the humidity over here. So look at this. This is July in the afternoon. It's like way down there. And I don't know where it is. Like if you look at Tennessee, look at Nashville, see what their humidity is. And if you've never had any experience with humidity, you definitely want to do your fact-finding trip to find out what that's all about. And like that other person said, do it in the season that you might be most concerned about. Look at Nampa's snowfall. What do we have? 6 inches. And for like a whole, that does not come down at one time. And we only have like maybe 4 to 6 snows an entire season. And it may be a couple inches, maybe an inch. It's usually all melted by the end of the next day. So, and then sunshine. Oh my gosh, we get so much sunshine over here. Anyway, City Data is a great resource to go to. These people actually give some good suggestions on the process you could go through. Make a list of different things that you're looking for in an area and give them a score according to weight or the importance to you. I spent a lot of time driving my mouse up and down the Google streets of various different towns and places across the country. And that was a way. A better way is when you call the Treasure Valley Dave team and say, I'm interested in this house in that neighborhood or this specific house on this street. Can you do a video just for me of the neighborhood? You betcha. We'll jump in the car, we mount the camera, we'll go drive around. We'll point out if it's close to a factory, if it's close to a major street, or if it's just like in the most perfect idyllic situation. You're going to find out. That's what we do every day, and you're not bothering us when you call us and ask us to do that. That's just what we do. This person says look up local Facebook groups and see what they're complaining about. That's a pretty good idea. Figure out your wants, your needs, your budget, and your lifestyle. I think those are fabulous points right there. So when you are putting your list together, maybe you put those wants, needs, your lifestyle. It's like, what do you want in a lifestyle? Do you want something that's like really metropolitan? Maybe you need to go to some big city, maybe a New York type of a thing.
So I just landed in New York City and I'm so excited to get, whoa, hey, I'm walking here. I'm really excited to get.
Listen to me. We don't talk like that. We don't say things like that. You understand? Do you understand?
Okay, sorry. Forget about it. So basically,
maybe you want some country music. I'm thinking that's probably Nashville. Maybe you want just the simple life.
Yes, it'll be quite a shock from city life to our humble country ways.
Kind of slower paced, maybe a little bit bigger lots. Maybe you don't want an acreage because you're not going to want to do all the upkeep on it. It's like, what is it that you want in your lifestyle? Another resource that I used a lot when we were trying to figure out where we're going to go is this right here. This very, very thing. This Strategic Relocation by Joel Skousen. And this is the 3rd edition. The 4th edition's out. And I've gone ahead and bought a copy. And we're on our YouTube channel. We're almost to 1,000 subscribers. And as a way to celebrate hitting 1,000, we're going to be giving away that brand new 4th edition copy that I've got on order. Or if you've already happened to have this, which I wouldn't be surprised if you did, we're also giving away a $100 gas card. So maybe that will help you get from Winnemucca all the way up here to Nampa. Never know. Anyway, this book is great. And why is it great? Well, I'm glad you asked. So this one is a little bit older. They talk about what country to go to. You know, we always had that idea. It's like, do we need to be in a different country? Well, the author here goes through the different countries and he rates them, and he takes his data and he shows you like freedom indexes and things like that. And bottom line, the United States is the best country to be in, closely followed by Canada. Like I said, this was before COVID. Maybe things have changed. Can't wait to get that 4th edition later this week, and we'll kind of just go through that. So here he's talking about North America, and he breaks it down in climate and what else? Humidity, hurricanes, storms, tornadoes. We were just talking about those. Earthquakes. Then he has a section on freedom and politics. This guy has done so much. Moral, religious, cultural, and people. Immigration, demographics, voter distribution, state tax and spending. Property rights. That could be important, am I right? Zoning and planning. Why is that important? Well, I've just watched this. This is the author. It's an interview with the author, and he talks about why these different parts of the book are important.
Boise here, which is the only economically viable area for people who have high income jobs, technical jobs. Boise is kind of a new technical center. This is a beautiful farming valley along the Snake River. Good areas on either side of this. This is all irrigated farmland.
He takes all this data and he has this bottom line score here. And so 5 stars is the best. Idaho, 5 stars, it's the best. Utah's got 5 stars, and it's not quite as good as Idaho, as the author explains in his assessment when we get to those sections. Some of these places, California's a 1, Hawaii's a 0 stars, Florida is 0 stars, and it's not because Florida's not a conservative state or a nice place or anything like that, but we'll find out here in a little bit. We have the primary threats of active volcanoes and nuclear targets. So you can see that California's got quite a few. Montana, because that's where the missiles were, North Dakota, and over here in the Cheyenne, Fort Collins, and even down here in Colorado Springs. We do have a couple little places here in Idaho. So we could zoom in on that, right? So Idaho, we've got Mountain Home, and we have the nuclear place over on the other side of the state. And other than that, we don't have really a whole lot. Well, and let's talk about population for a minute. So this author talks about one of the absolute biggest threat is population density. And why?
Every crisis that threatens, even a local crisis, can turn exponential because of close proximity to other people who cannot help themselves. Even good people panic in a crisis. You don't have to be evil. It doesn't have to be just a Watts. When you have no food after 3 days, all of the store shelves are empty. If there's no water, it's exacerbated. If there's no electricity, there's going to be no gasoline. People are limited. You won't even be able to walk out of town because of the danger of threat from people interacting with other people. In a crisis, any crisis in where infrastructure is cut off, these people are going to start to migrate outward. There is nothing there. There's no job to keep them. Suddenly, everybody wants to be relocated strategically.
So where can people go? Well, the author is explaining that they would have to go across here to get out of the population area because, if you're in San Diego, you're going to hit these people. And these people are going all sorts of different directions too. The main way of travel is via major roads and interstates, and then something happens. Traffic stops, you run out of gas, there's those Jersey barriers in many places, so it's like your car is stuck, and even if you still have gas, you can't go because the guy in front of you and the guy over there can't go, and then you have to bail out of your car and walk. That brings us back to Idaho. It's like in Idaho, the major population centers are way out. We do have Interstate 84 that comes through here. But if people are leaving here on foot, they're not going to walk all the way to Boise, at least not anytime soon. So we're kind of out there. And so something else that we learned with the Black Lives Matter thing a couple years ago, as they were coming from the Portland area, what they would do is they'd come out to small little towns out here, far away from all the liberal areas over here, and they would take over the town. So I was thinking about that. It's like towns that we have over here in the Treasure Valley, like Nampa, Caldwell, we're big enough that some rogue group isn't going to come in and take over our town. And we have enough people who, have guns. And they're going to step up and they're going to help out law enforcement. Now we have our state-by-state review. Let's just start in. We can take a look at California.
Personal liberty ratings, we rate it from 1 to 5. California is low. We give a gun liberty rating. California is terrible. One of the few states we gave a terrible rating to. No permit to purchase firearms. Any rifle with a magazine is banned as an assault weapon. Registration is required for all pre-banned weapons. No out-of-production guns may be brought into the state, including vintage weapons. It has a may issue, effectively a no issue concealed weapons permit from the sheriff's office, and no recognition of other state concealed weapons permits. That's the kind of detail that is really helpful in picking a state when you want to.
Talk about a death trap, though. I mean, Southern California, if things unravel in any way, it is going to look like absolute hell.
That's right, but I'll tell you, California is a mix in that regard. It's got some very good retreat areas if it wasn't that it's in California.
So here's Idaho. Let's just take a quick look here. Climate, it's a high desert climate. We do get population density is low, 19 people per square mile. What was it in California? 244? Big difference. Cost of living is below average. Private land availability is poor, meaning 66% of the state is owned by the state or federal governments. I really think we should work on that, don't you? Building permits not required in some northern counties. And they're apparently county by county. Land and urban planning, there are local zoning regulations. Land use planning is at the local level. Food production, only with irrigation. And we do have a lot of water here. And it's from dams. It's, gravity fed through the dams, which are hydroelectric dams, which gives us cheaper electricity. Health environment, the water quality is excellent. We're fed by the mountain springs. Down in the valley, it's not so much because of all the the agriculture going on and fertilizers and stuff like that. So some places you actually might need a reverse osmosis if you have a farmhouse out in the middle of a bunch of fields. But moving along, traffic is low. Politics, conservative. Taxes, higher than average. I think that's something that we have been working on. Certainly all the politicians give a lot of lip service to it. So let's hold those feet to the fire. Corruption is low. Actually, it's getting lower. 2 weeks ago, they had the Republican convention down in Twin Falls, and they cleaned house. They got rid of some rhinos, the establishment Republicans, and replaced them with more of the patriot Republicans. So let's see how that turns out, after the next election. And I think it's going to actually get more and more conservative. Pretty cool. Crime, lower. Personal liberty is high, a 5 out of 5. Gun liberty, excellent. Gun laws have changed since this book came out, so now you don't need a permit for anything. It did say it was a shell issue. Now it's just you got the Constitution. Second Amendment, there's your gun license. Alternative medicine, very good. Homeschooling, there's no regulation. And again, this is as of when this book was written. When we get that fourth volume, this is volume 3, or edition 3, we're going to go back through this and compare and see what changes have been made. But overall, and then we have 3 military targets. This guy goes through so many details on things to look for when you're looking, do you have a path to retreat? So that was this book. And you can actually go to this guy's site. It's joelskousen.com. And you can buy his book for $35. And I'm going to give it 2 thumbs up. I would certainly recommend it. It helped us out tremendously. So just to kind of recap, make your list, think about what's important to you, what you need to make sure happens in your life that you need to have, and can you have that someplace else? If you have to stay, be confident in that you have to stay and make preparations for however best you can there. If you can leave, vote with your feet, find a better place to go. I certainly would encourage that. And to figure out where that is, find out what's important to you in that next place. Is it to have high humidity and a big chance of tornadoes? Well, Tennessee, Missouri, that might be the place for you. Maybe you want like 4 distinct seasons, very mild weather, very, very reasonable low humidity in the summertime, plenty of water from the mountains. Let's see, what else? Plenty of jobs, great economic activity, and not on an escape route from big major population centers. You might consider the Treasure Valley. That's what we did, and that's why we're here. Well, gosh, we've been through a whole lot today. Thanks for sticking to the end, and I appreciate it quite a bit. If you found this video interesting, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and like, and then maybe share it with somebody that needs to see it. And also give us a call. If you have some questions about what the Treasure Valley is like, what houses are like here, what are the job scenes, give us a call. We will be glad to answer all your questions. We've all moved from someplace else, so we know what that feels like to not have somebody on your side at the new place while we're on your side. So don't let that slow you down. Well, anyway, this is Treasure Valley Dave, and as always, looking forward to helping you get home.